what you want and be prepared to get it. Maya Angelou. Welcome to Talk to Me. I'm your host, Brenda Warren, the solutionist. It seems like we got a big echo here, but it doesn't matter because I'm still the one that helps you turn your mess or your mission into a message. And hopefully, before this show, you'll figure out what's causing the feedback. That's the thing about when you go live, you have to deal with whatever's going on and try to figure it out. And well, we're gonna be talking about nothing if I keep muting myself, huh? We're gonna talk about being prepared and what you have to do. Hold on one second, you guys bear with me. Can you hear me? Is anything different now? How about from you, Lisa?
Still getting the echo.
I got cancellation on everything. Okay. How about now?
Still there.
I'm not sure. We don't have anything unplugged or anything different from yesterday. So let's see. We just got to roll with it. Okay, for those of you that will bear with us, this is the day that we're doing TAPIN Method. We're starting with the letter P today. And P is about being prepared. And apparently I wasn't prepared. You know, Lisa, it's been one of those Fridays. Today was a day that different things kept happening, and I could not figure out what it was that was going on. So what I'm going to do is ask you to take you out the screen and see if the echo is on my part or if it's on something there. How about we do that?
Okay.
And while we're doing that, I want to remind everybody, yep, the echo's coming from you, Lisa, because now there is no echo at all. So if you can check your mics while I talk to everybody about what's going on here today. Today, we are doing the tap-in method. We are with the letter P, which is about being prepared. It is so important that you prepare for the breakthrough that you say you want to have. Because if you don't prepare, how are you going to get the results that you're expecting to get? It's often a thing that people overlook. They'll say, I want to lose weight, or I want to be out of debt, or I want to do blank, which we've stated all this week. What is the tap-in method? The tap-in method is a 5-step strategic plan designed to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And that little gap in between there is usually the scariest part. And today we're going to talk about the preparation phase because we've already talked about T was transformation. It's all about your mindset and beginning to believe that you can actually make the change that you want to make. And then the A is about announcing and accountability, announcing what it is you say you want to accomplish or to change in your life, and then getting some accountability around that thought. And today we're going to talk about how do you prepare for that change? And we've been using weight loss this entire week to see if we can just have something that you guys can relate to. And then we talk about other areas as well. So I'm going to bring Lisa back into the stream and see if we've got that echo resolved. Lisa, how we doing?
Okay, I don't hear the echo, so I
no. All right, look at that. That's what I say. When we go live, we just roll with it. Because you know what, Lisa, when I got to the P part, I thought about that today. You know, one of the things being prior military for both of us, we know you don't get ready, you stay ready. And once you prepare, then it's like a matter of maintaining that preparation for the changes that you say you want to accomplish. So we're going to talk about prepare today. And I say it's time to prepare now. Using weight loss as an example, I had to change what I had in my cupboards, get rid of the cookies, the chips, the dips. I bought some additional equipment for my home gym. I bought a new journal so that I could actually track what I was doing. I started using Fitness Pal. And I'm happy to say, even on this week right here, because we were talking about this, I was a little bit more, conscious of my choices. And I noticed that my pants were just a little bit looser. I don't rely on the scale because the scale is the devil. But I kind of do my measurements and how my clothes fit. But I could tell that I'm already making progress over this past week as I became more conscious of using the things I prepared for my weight loss journey. So we're going to start right there to give you the opportunity of your tell us your thoughts when you're working with your clients on why it's so important to prepare for the change or the breakthrough that you're saying you want to accomplish.
I think the bottom line reason, no matter what you do or how you manage to go about it, is if you are not prepared, you're not making any change. Preparation is the key to everything. You can't move forward if you're not prepared, because then you're not going to be organized. You're not going to be able to get everything done that you want to get done. You took the time to go through the transformation. You took the time to announce an accountability, but now you have to prepare not only your mindset to move forward, but you have to prepare your house. You have to prepare you have to prepare everything to make sure that you can actually move forward. I had a client, and I am telling you, the preparation was the hardest part, no matter what you did or how you did it. Um, it was like I said, I want you to have plan A, B, and C. Because I think it was Benjamin Franklin, because in your book you quoted, and I think you quoted Benjamin Franklin, um, preparation is the key and failure to prepare is the problem. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you look at preparing, he just did not want to have a plan B and C. And because he said, you know what, I'm going to prepare to fail if I have a plan B and C. All I need is a plan A. Well, we know that preparation requires a little bit of backup.
Mm-hmm.
And so we finally got him set where he was willing to come up with a plan A, B, and C. Never had to use B and C, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But, he had to, in his particular case, one of the things he wanted to do is he wanted to work out first thing in the morning. Well, if you're not used to getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do working out beforehand, you really have to prepare your mind, body, and soul to make that happen. Because it's not going to happen if you don't prepare yourself, prepare your house, get your stuff ready, especially if you're not a morning person. It's a whole lot worse if you're not a morning person.
Lisa, having a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G is not hard for me because I'm a planner. I used to be accused of being able to plan a trip to the bathroom, and that's true because I do plan a lot of things. And when I'm working with clients, that's always one of the interesting things, especially nowadays when we're so what is it focused on mindset and stuff. I will have pushback from clients that say, well, if I have all these extra plans, aren't you planning for me to fail? And I say, absolutely not. What you're planning for is in the event there is a change, you're prepared for that change or that disruption to your schedule. I'll give you some examples. For me, my normal schedule is I am one of those early risers that get up at 5 a.m., and that's because of my Marine Corps background. So I've been getting up at 5 a.m. for over 20 years. It's just, I don't even need an alarm clock. I'm just up. So that for me was the best time for me to get up and work out because if I don't do it early in the morning, I'm just one of those people, I'm not going to do it. So I had to have a backup plan for those times when maybe I overslept because I was tired from the day before, or when just something happened and my schedule didn't allow for an early morning workup, like an early client meeting or something. Then what's my backup? My backup is that I have a rule. I can't go to bed until I work out, which is really inconvenient sometimes. But when I stick to that, I don't care if it's 1 a.m. in the morning, I will not go to sleep unless I at least uh, do a 30-minute workout. And so there's an incentive for me to get up and do it in the morning so that I'm not having to do it late at night. That's a preparation there. It's the same for when someone comes to one of us and say they want accountability. And I'm like, are you really prepared for accountability? Especially at the level that we provided, Lisa. And I think that it's interesting that people get to this particular phase, and I'm always amazed that people waffle at the very stage that's going to get them, because this is in the middle of the transition. You've already got your mindset worked on. You've already announced what you say you want. Where is your from here to there? And you've already got your accountability. And now we're simply saying, now it's time to put the systems in place so that you can get your breakthrough or make the transformation that you want. Because, Lisa, for me, what I really believe is that we all are the creators or the destroyers of what it is we say we want. And I'd love for you to talk about how you have dealt with your clients when they're at that phase and they don't seem to understand that.
Well, it's funny because when they get to that stage, what I like to do, especially for those who actually don't understand it, I say, okay, let's plan a trip. Now, remember, we've already talked about we've already talked about transforming our mind. We've already talked about the action part. So you already know what you're going to do because you got your action, but it's the preparation. So I always say when they get to that point, okay, let's plan a trip. And they're going to Disneyland,
Mm-hmm.
wherever it is they want to go. I said, okay, so you're going to do absolutely nothing. You're just going to show up at the airport with no clothes, nothing packed. And so I have this little checklist about all the things that you need to do to take a trip. And
Mm-hmm.
look at all of the little details that it takes before you even, first of all, before you even place the ticket, there's like 7 things you have to do. And so
Right.
it's nice when you can show it in a realistic kind of way, opposed to a complicated way as you're trying to explain it. So I like showing it in an easy way to follow. And then we can go ahead and move on to, and then they're ready because then they've got the full mindset of understanding. Because a lot of times people don't think about the small details. And when you prepare, you have to have those small details or you're not going to succeed. So that's one of the things that I like to do with my clients is make it as simple and fun, but yet realistic so that they understand how we can do it. And when we get to that point, they're usually ready to go. Weight loss is always a great example when you talk about preparation, because one of the first things that people need to do if they're going to go to weight loss, first of all, they have to make sure that they understand that it's a lifestyle change, which means the first thing they need to do is clean out their refrigerator and
Mm-hmm.
clean out their freezer. And what I mean by clean out, you can get rid of stuff, keep stuff. It doesn't matter if you can do moderation, don't throw everything out. But pull everything out of the fridge and actually completely clean and wipe down the fridge. And then reorganize the refrigerator so that your fruit is the first thing you see, or your vegetables are the first thing that you see. And put like the goodie snacks, kind of like the prepackaged cookies, put those in the back of the fridge. So they're not the first thing you see when you open up the fridge. It's a simple thing to do. And the reason that I say take everything out and actually wipe it down and do a full cleaning is because it gives you a completely different mindset. And your refrigerator looks so different once you've done that.
Lisa, I worked with a client when I first began my journey, and we talked about that. I myself, I took everything out of my freezer and my refrigerator, and I took a complete inventory. She thought that was a mite much, but after doing it, she was like, "Wow, I have a lot of junk in here," and so did I. I was not in a position when I first started my weight loss journey a few years back to throw everything out. So what I did do was, by having an inventory and knowing what I had, I knew what I could eat in moderation, and I just ate the food I had until I got to a place where I could buy healthier. So I bought healthier choices as I used the food I had in my freezer. So I tell people, don't use the excuse, well, I don't have the money. Work with what you have, because I truly believe, Lisa, I'm not a doctor, a dietitian, a nutritionist, or none of that. So for those of you out there listening, I'm none of that. I'm just telling you my experience. And my experience was simply this: with all the tater tots, french fries, and everything I had in there. What I did, Lisa, instead of eating a whole bag of french fries like I would have done in the past, I actually portioned it out so that way I didn't need as much. And by just making those small changes, the weight began to come off. And as the foods that were not the healthiest began to leave my freezer and my refrigerator, I replaced them with healthier choices. And I lost 65 pounds doing just that. I worked with what I had, and excuse me, and I didn't make excuses. The same thing for the exercise. It's been cold lately, so I totally did not want to go outside and walk in the cold. Now, yes, I could have put on a coat and I was being a wuss, but I didn't want to do that. So I found the Leslie Simone walking videos and other YouTube people that do walking, the 10,000 step videos. And I started doing the videos right here in my house, and I got my steps in indoors. So when people tell me, "Oh, Brenda, I just can't do it. I don't have a home gym or I don't have a gym membership," I'm like, "Do you have legs? Can you move?" And then if they say, "Well, yeah, I saw on what is it, Shake My Beauty today, a lady who has no legs and no arms, and she's a TikToker, and she does exercise videos for people." I'm just like, I will never complain again, Lisa. Now that's a lady that has tapped into her genius and her greatness, because she didn't even let the fact that she got burned in a fire and lost all partial loss of her limbs stop her from living her best life or from working out. So when people tell me it can't be done, I'm like going, I think you need to look a little closer. But before we go back to Lisa, I want to talk about another thing that can help people get prepared. I do have a free giveaway that is, excuse me, that is on my website, BrendaTheSolutionist.com. It is the best year ever blueprint. It is a perfect way to get prepared because it will help you reflect on last year, prepare for this year, and help you really get a blueprint for how you can live your best year ever. And it's free. You have no excuse. Just go there, get the flip book, follow the instructions. Everything is there for you. And it's my gift to anyone that just goes to the website. It was a giveaway during the book launch, and I'm so excited because so many people are being helped by it. Um, so please go there and check out the best year ever blueprint and get your blueprint on so that you can prepare for moving into your next phase. Lisa, we've used weight loss for this particular week as we've gone through the 5 steps. We have 2 more steps to go. What I love about the TAPIN Method, this 5-step program that I created, is that it's universal. It just doesn't have to be weight loss. Sometimes people want to get financially independent. They want to improve their emotional state. They want to have better relationships with friends, families, or an intimate partner. They want to become entrepreneurs. They want to shift to a new career. There are so many different things. And of course, both of our loves, veterans that are transitioning from military service to being in the civilian community. And all of those transitions or changes, whatever it may be for you, because sometimes it's just a transition, other times it's a complete change. You have to prepare for it. What are some of the things that you maybe have helped clients prepare for that you'd like to share with us tonight?
Well, it's interesting because we can use veterans separating from the military, because I worked with veterans and worked with them for over 8 years. And one of the things is when somebody is leaving from the military, and we have a lot of people today separating because they don't want to take the vaccine. So they're literally not even in the mindset to go off. So you really have to get in that mindset first. So that's the first step. And then once they've got the action plan, there are so many different ways that you can approach pivoting for your career. And one of the easiest ways to work from pivoting from your career, and I know people hate when I say this because it's old school, but you have to prepare, and it really comes down to writing everything out and mapping out what you want to do and how to figure out what you want to do. Because a lot of times when you're pivoting, it's okay, let's figure out where it is that you want to do. And I actually start with the dream method. Where do you want to be in 10 years? And then I can get you there. Sometimes it's school. Sometimes it's transforming your mind and preparing to become a civilian. A lot of times we don't have the clothes we need when we separate. I am telling you, I couldn't even color coordinate my clothes. Thank goodness for Dress for Success, because that was my saving grace when I retired. It was like, the lady was so nice. She handed me this book and said, "These are how you color coordinate."
I think it's funny you said that, Lisa, because having been in a uniform for 20 years myself, when I got out, I had a whole bunch of clothes, but there was no coordination. I was so all over the map. I didn't have a style. I had a wardrobe, but it had no style.
Yep. And today you have to have a style, and you have to have clothes. You can't just have your blue jeans, because and you can't wear your military blues or your greens, whatever you, that just doesn't work in the civilian world. Besides the fact it's military and not as comfortable as civilian clothes. So you have to prepare your wardrobe. You have to go out, and in a lot of cases, sometimes you have to go buy it, whether you buy it at a thrift store, which by the way has really great sales, and people actually donate unused items, or whether you go to somewhere for women's dress for success, for men suit up, and depending on the city or state you're in.
Mm-hmm.
But that's got to be your first step, because if you look good, you feel good. In the military, we're all about pressing our uniform. In the civilian world, people don't do that.
Mm.
And so you really want to make sure that clothes wise you're prepared. That's actually the first thing that I talk about. Then the next thing I talk about is making sure that when you apply for the different jobs, which is really the hardest thing, that you adjust your resume properly.
Mm-hmm.
Because regardless of what you're doing, if you're pivoting in your life, that resume is so important, and you have to make sure that it matches the job that you're applying for. Because a lot of times veterans think, oh, well, hey, I served 20 years in the military. Of course, they're going to take my HR background. Why wouldn't they? I had 20 years of human resources. I couldn't find a job because civilians didn't understand what human resources were. And
Mm-hmm.
in the military, because we were personnelists, not human resources. So
Right.
it was an extremely interesting pivot. And then also for people who, when they want to get out and they want to switch and they want to pivot to being an entrepreneur. Well, if you're going
Yeah.
to pivot to be an entrepreneur, you better use every free resource that's out there. You do not want to go on your own, because there are so many different things. But always start with the small business development centers. Those are fantastic organizations. They're covered by the SBA, and it's completely free, and they will help you really decide where you want to go. But whatever you do, don't ever do it alone.
You know, Lisa, that's a good point, not doing it alone. And that's why when I'm talking to the clients, one of the things I use is the traffic stop. You know, when people are talking about they don't get the concept of being prepared, I use this story because it made sense to me the first time I ever heard it. And the story basically went like this, or should I say goes like this. You know, you leave from your home, you're running behind, you didn't really prepare like you are. So now you're rushing because you know you're going to be late for work. You get to a light, you see it's turning yellow, and you make the decision to keep going, and the light turns red. And what happens? A police officer stops you and gives you a ticket. Now you're mad because the police officer stopped you. You said, but it was yellow. He said no, because it actually turned red while you were in the middle of the thing. So you're getting a ticket. Now you're being belligerent with the cop. They ask you to step out the car. You push the police officer. Maybe that's not the best example now with all the things going on, but it's the one that I remember. And now you get two tickets for being belligerent, one for running a red light. You go about your business, and the truth is, now you're 20 minutes late for a meeting that you would have only been 5 minutes late for had you stopped at the light. But the truth is, had you properly prepared, gotten up early, and gave yourself enough time to get to work so that you would be to your meeting on time, you wouldn't have got the tickets, you wouldn't have been rushed, and you wouldn't have been late for a very important meeting. So preparation is so important when you're doing things. And like when you talk about weight loss, or if you say one of your preparation steps is to work out, every night before I go to bed, I lay out my workout clothes. I have all my equipment ready. I have my sneakers, my socks, my clothing, because I found that when I actually have everything I need to be successful on what I say I want to do, I have a better chance of actually working out. Because if I got to get up in the morning and hunt for socks, hunt for shoes, hunt for workout gear, there's more of a chance for me to say, that's just too much, and get back into bed. But if everything's sitting there on the bureau waiting for me when I get up, I have no excuse. My water's there, my clothing's there, and my laptop or iPad is there ready for me to do the indoor workout. Those are just a way to prepare for weight loss. It's the same as if you're using something like finances. You prepare yourself by, like we talked about the other day, taking accountability of what it is you owe, and then mapping out a plan for how you plan to pay those debts off. You know, the tap in method is so universal. I tell people I can tap into anything. And one person recently, when I said that they heard us talking here this week, Lisa, and somebody challenged me on could I tap into anything? So they basically wanted me to tap into the fact that they wanted to start taking bubble baths, but they were really a shower person. And I was like, that's easy. First thing you got to do is change your mindset around the length of that a bath has to be. A bath can be long or short depending on what you want to do, and then the therapeutic properties for the bath. And then you're going to announce that from now on you're going to take a bath once a week, once a day, once an hour. I don't care what it is, but you announce what it is for you. And then I want you to get some accountability about the fact that you need to take baths on a regular, because they have really sore muscles, and I mentioned to them that an Epsom salt bath will really help them. So you get some accountability. Then you're going to prepare by getting the Epsom salt, the bubble baths, or whatever it is you need to take that bath so that you can get that bath accomplished. Then I want you to imagine how good it's going to feel when you're all in that bathtub and that warm water just relaxing. Then I want you to nurture that thought. And from now on, put baths in your routine as often or as little as you like. And they just looked at me with a blank stare and was like, I guess you can tap into anything. I said, yes, I can. Because it is simply a 5 step strategic plan, Lisa, to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And the truth is, that gap in the middle is the scariest part, because that's no man's zone. I know where I'm at. Oh, but, and I know where I want to be. In the middle is where you figure it out. That's where the tap in comes into this group of exercises or steps to make sure you can actually get from here to there. Lisa, we have a couple of minutes left, and I think we made it even with our little technical difficulties at the, at the beginning there. Do you have any final thoughts for our audience?
I do. I really truly believe that you have to prepare, and you need to take the time to prepare. And when we talk about prepare, it's not as simple as Brenda made it sound, getting everything ready, because she has already spent the time figuring out what she needed to do that was going to work best for her. So it is really important for you to figure out what's going to work best for you. So if getting your clothes out the night before is perfect, or if in some cases just having a drawer, just one drawer dedicated to your workout clothes where you can just pull them out. Because my mother used to hate putting clothes out. If you had it on your dresser, she'd have a fit. So, you could have, there are people out there. So you could have a drawer and then put your workout clothes for the weekend. And the same thing with everything. It's all about the preparation. So make sure that you know what you need to be prepared. And if you don't know, Google it. Google everything you need to be prepared. Or if you have to do it without preparing, keep a note so that you know exactly what you missed the first, second, and third time around, so that it then goes smoothly if you happen to miss a step or two. And it is okay to miss a step or two.
And I think that's an important point that you brought out, Lisa. You have to prepare what works for you, because what works for Brenda may not work for everybody. And that's the best part about the tap in. It is personalized to the individual. You know, ladies and gentlemen, Lisa and I have been coming on here talking to you about the steps of the tap in method, and we're happy to do so. We're going to continue to do that. We got 2 more steps to go. But when you look back, I want you to know that this method is designed to be custom fitted for your particular situation. So I'm glad Lisa brought out that some people putting clothes out may not work for them, and other people it will. But what we want to remind you, as always, is the choices you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. So choose wisely and prepare the way that feels right for you. Take care, everybody.